Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Stepping Up to the Plate. I'm your host, Michael Vega. So glad you could join us for a half hour of scintillating sports talk here in Milton. Happy to be joined on the dais by my main man, Al Prizzuti. And unbelievable, Al, there's trouble with a capital T in River City. And that's because there's a quarterback controversy full-blown in Foxborough right now after the Patriots took a hideous 33-14 loss to the lowly Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football. It exposed all the warts now that everyone was worried about and has given rise to, as I mentioned, a full-blown quarterback controversy that's fomented and totally incited by none other than Bill Belichick when he started the not 100% Mac Jones on a short lease, 3 series, and he's out. Bailey Zappi comes in. Bailey Zappi has, modicum success, leading them to a 14-10 lead. And then the thing that really, we're all focused on the quarterback controversy. It's the defense that let them down. The defense gave up, 23 unanswered points. So 33-14 was the final. It could have been 133-14. That's how bad it felt at the end of the night. It's unbelievable.
They can't stop a mobile quarterback. The kid is not a great passer. He can run. And the third downs killed them.
Right.
Every time, I forget what they were, 60, 70% on third downs. So they control the ball. The defense didn't look good. What's his name is the best player on the defense?
Matthew Judon.
Judon. And short of that, and then that looks like Andrews could be out because that was a bad hit.
That was a bad hit, bad blindside hit that he took.
I'm glad they kicked the guy out. But the quarterback controversy, first of all, I don't think it was fair to Jones. Regardless of whether they had a plan that said, oh, you're going to play this. Nobody goes 3 plays. They were 3 and out twice. And then he came and threw an interception, fine.
Yeah.
That wasn't the big problem. It was 10-0. And then 3 plays, the end of the first period, they take him out and they put the other kid in. So what does that do to your psyche? I know if it was me, I'd be ticked.
For sure. And you know what? I think that to his credit, Mac Jones handled it pretty gracefully. Post-game comments.
Yeah, well, I think all of that is choreographed.
I think that is all just a front.
Yeah, it's choreographed.
He really, what if he had closed captioning? Okay, with the comments that he was making, with what he was really thinking, I think it would have revealed something altogether different, with perhaps how he really felt about the situation. But he's just trying to put on
it's a can't-win situation. It's a can't-win situation for Jones, and it's a can't-win situation for the other kid for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
You got to come in and you got to produce, or you're not going to play. And you can't rotate 2 guys, two quarterbacks all year.
And now you got the Patriots getting ready to play the Jets, a division team that has a healthy Zach Wilson. They have a very good defense out. Their coach, Robert Saleh, who's a defensive-minded guy, who's defensive coordinator for the 49ers. They brought him in to kind of turn this, franchise around, downtrodden franchise. Al, it looks to me like the Patriots now have become the Jets of the division.
Wow.
The tomato can that everyone else is going to kick around. And I'm telling you, it's not going to get any better. This Jets team is formidable. Their defense is formidable. And I think that right now, you're still going to have this lingering issue, and it's going to continue to haunt them until Bill Belichick really mans up and says, okay, this guy's going to be our starter this week. It's going to be Mac Jones. All right? You go with Mac Jones. You say, this is our guy, because if you can't come out and definitively say who your starter is going to be, then you really don't have one. You're sending the message that you don't have one. And I don't get all this subterfuge. I never have. I always thought it was distasteful to try and protect your competitive advantage by not announcing. All right, so do you think the Jets are sitting there going, oh God, it's going to be Mac Jones or it's going to be Bailey Zappi? Do you really think that that's going to give the Patriots any kind of competitive advantage that they don't know? They're going to prepare for both of them. And you know what? None of them are going to be effective because both of those kids have their damaged psyche, I think, beyond repair right now.
Well, you know what?
And that's my hot take.
Forget the quarterback controversy because it's going to linger.
It's a defense controversy right now.
They got a couple of things. One, no Patriot team ever has committed as many penalties as this team in key situations. Every time they have a big play, it's called back either for a hold or a motion or whatever. So that's a problem.
Yeah.
Second thing is, they can't contain a running quarterback. They haven't been able to do that. They're not going to be able to do it against Buffalo. They're not going to be able to do it against the Kansas City. They probably won't be able to do it against the Jets on Sunday. So I think that he needs to figure out, A, what this team is all about.
Yeah.
Because this defense was okay against some teams, but not good. Chicago came in, everybody said, oh, they lost 3 in a row.
Yeah.
I think the Patriots actually didn't take them as hard and as careful as they should have.
Yeah.
They thought they were going to win that game.
Do you think they really were looking past the Chicago Bears?
No, I don't think that. I think what happens with a lot of people is a lot of teams is they look at the competition and they say, you know what, this isn't Kansas City. This isn't.
Right.
And so
the Green Bay Packers.
They don't
in
play
Lambeau
as
Field.
hard.
Yeah.
And that's just human nature.
You're right.
But what happens after usually what happened with Patriots teams in the past is when they had a bad first half, they went in and made the corrections that fixed the team in the second half.
Al, you bring up an excellent point. An excellent point. What has been the hallmark of Bill Belichick's coaching legacy? It's that he has always been able to make adjustments on the fly. And you know what, Al? What do they have now? 4 losses? And each of one of those 4 losses, really, we haven't seen that.
Yeah.
We've not seen any significant adjustments. Now,
I think it's a talent issue.
I think he is spread a little too thin right now because he's spending time trying to shore up that offense, and then he turns around and his defense is giving up points, so he has to rotate over to the defense to give them his attention, and now you've got issues with your special teams where your punter can't, give you any kind of competitive advantage. So now he's got those issues to deal with. On all fronts, he's being assaulted.
You got a lot of things going on with this team. If you think back to the Patriots team, very seldom did they have guys go down with injury.
Right.
Like the game the other night. As they started to lose, every time there was a play, a Patriot was down.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of those guys are trying to do too much and overextend, and then they're getting hurt. So you have that, you pull a guy out, and all of a sudden they look and say, we're thin. We don't have guys that can come in and play.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of issues here. I don't know how long.
And Al, here's the thing, to kind of broaden our discussion here. It gives one reason to ponder. Is it time for Bill Belichick to retire?
Well, he probably, let me put it this way. If this team finishes 6-11 or whatever, how many games do they play now?
They play
17?
They play 17,
Yeah, well, so if they finished at 6-11,
yeah.
Kraft will tell them, see you later.
Time for you to retire. Yeah. And it's funny now, and here you have, again, to broaden the discussion, Tom Brady, the guy who supposedly, was the one who made Belichick's career. And there's others who say Belichick made Brady's career. Now that they've separated, both of them are going downhill at the same time.
Well,
Is it time for both of them to retire?
it's team.
Because
So
you know what? They're
I
tarnishing their legacies.
I
right
think
now.
what it proves, though, is it's not Bill Belichick. It wasn't Brady. It's not Brady in Tampa. It's the team.
Yeah.
Tampa doesn't have the same weapons that they had last year.
Right.
I mean, he's getting hammered, so that's an issue. But all of sports comes down to one thing: team.
Right.
And when you think it's one player, it never is.
Yeah.
It never is. So I think they're in trouble because they don't have really the depth on this team to overcome shortcomings.
Yeah.
They just don't have it.
Al, and you know what team right now does? Your Boston Bruins, Al.
Well,
I mean, to think about what you just said, the Bruins right now stand at 6-1, off to their best start since 69-70 season after 7 games. And now it's a small sample. Yes, I understand. But consider this. Would you have even thought that that was possible, when you've had to replace your coach? You're missing key components on your offense in Brad Marchand, your defense, Charlie McAvoy, and you're integrating new players and old players back into the fold. Pavel Zacha, the new, David Krejci, the old. And you're sitting there with a closing window of opportunity for Patrice Bergeron to win in what is in all likelihood his last year.
I'm not sure that with Bergeron that's true. The kid, I think he's looking and saying, I've got whatever it takes. If he's got this is again going back to team.
Yes, Al.
This team is playing together.
Yes.
I mean, when you look at the third and fourth lines, don't forget Foligno has got 3 goals. He scored 2 all of last year.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Taylor Hall, is one of my favorite players. Taylor Hall
Second that emotion.
can do a lot of things, and he's playing really well, but he's got to shoot.
Yeah.
Not pass as much as he does. Because when he shoots, I mean, he is a back checker, he's a forechecker, he's a tough kid. And really, Montgomery's system is the reason why this team looks better.
Yeah.
They're not back on their skates, leaving the zone like they did under Claude Julien and to a degree under Cassidy. They're moving forward. You've got defensemen coming in. And to do that, you've got forwards back checking because you get a lot of opportunities for 2-on-1s the other way.
Correct.
But they're pinching on that.
And they're putting a lot of puck pressure on the other team.
DeBrusque is playing like everybody thought he was supposed to play.
Yes.
And a little of that, you got to help. You got to look at Cassidy and say, he helped this kid toward the end. He said, look, you're a better player than what you're showing.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why they're winning, Pasternak is Pasternak. He's a great player. He's an offensive player.
Yeah.
David Krejci slows things down. On the power play, when he goes low, he's a great passer.
Without question.
I mean, so he's a solidifier on that team. Plus,
and a facilitator too.
Yeah. Plus, he's got his 2 countrymen with him in Pasternak and Pavel Zacha. Pavel Zacha is a big upgrade over Holo, whatever his name was.
Eric
He's with Jersey now.
Yeah.
So, but where they're really playing well, Charlie Coyle, back check, forward check.
Love him. Strong on
great
the puck.
Skater.
Strong
Grzelcyk.
on the puck, Al.
Grzelcyk, everybody said was out for the same amount
That's
of
another
time
guy who's
as
out.
McAvoy.
Yeah.
But when he's offense, you see him come out of the zone. So's Ryan.
Yeah.
These guys are fit Montgomery's style.
What do you think Montgomery do with a guy like Torrey Krug? Wouldn't Torrey Krug really fit this system?
Would certainly fit into that. Don't forget now, this guy Montgomery was with the Blues. He was with the Dallas, and he won with Dallas, incidentally. I don't know if anybody watched the show on Montgomery on Nesson.
Yeah.
And I never realized, when they mentioned Montgomery as the guy that was going to coach, I said, who the heck is he? He comes with baggage because he had some issues and personal issues and all that stuff. But if you look at what this guy has done and who he is, this is the type of guy that people can rally around. And I think this team is looking and saying, I don't know if you saw Bergeron when he won his first game. Bergeron,
That was telling to me, Al, because you know what? It spoke a lot about how this team views this guy.
Well, I think what Montgomery is a modern day coach that gets along with his players. He's not a taskmaster. So I think the Bruins, and I'm a firm believer, is you can't judge this team by the first part of the year because a lot of teams haven't really settled in. A lot of lines haven't figured out where the other guy is in defense pairings. But I will say if they're playing well, because they might still have to make a move. Look at Linus is playing as good as Tuukka.
Yeah, and
really?
I think better than Swayman right now.
Better than Swayman, but Swayman, let me put it this way. You need two goalies in today's world.
Sure.
But I don't like the every other game kind of thing. I like the fact that Montgomery said, this guy's hot, we're going to stay with him
And
for
I
a
think
while.
that's what he's going to do.
And I think he will.
Yeah.
I think he'll play Swayman against Detroit because Detroit's not as good a team. They're young and they're fast, but they're not as good a team. But you know, watching the football and watching hockey and watching baseball, what you realize is any team can win any night.
Al, I mean, no better example than the
Phillies.
ALCS and the NLCS, Al.
Yeah.
The Phillies, beating the Padres. That was an exciting, championship series, as was, the ALCS, where people, I think, rallied. I think people were rallying around the Astros at the end. Once they got up, with a chance to sweep, people here in Boston were probably thinking, you know what? We'll put away our animus towards the Astros because our animus towards the Yankees is greater. And to see the guy, the player that, everyone rallied around, Aaron Judge, go down in flames in
He had a bad series.
Bad series. And now, there's talk, Al, that the Dodgers may be interested. How in the world are they going to put that guy on their roster? Are they going to trade Mookie Betts?
Well,
are they going to get rid of somebody in their outfield?
If you're talking about Mookie Betts and Aaron Judge, I mean,
so
I'd
you let
trade
Mookie walk?
Oh yeah, if I was going to get Aaron Judge, oh yeah, yeah.
So
then, different type of players.
Could we see Mookie in pinstripes?
Oh yeah, I mean, look at the Yankees got money. I mean,
right. But so do the Dodgers. Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got these high places. You got Boston, you got New York, you got Chicago, you got L.A.
And you know what? San Diego. They opened up the check with Al.
Yeah,
they went out and they assembled a team.
Yeah.
All right, beginning with Manny Machado.
Yeah.
And then they went out and got some pitching, Blake Snell. They wound up getting arguably one of the more exciting young players in Tatis.
Yeah, well,
and then when he was
him.
out, when he went out at the trading deadline, they went out and made an even bigger move and got Soto. I'm like going, oh my word, man, where are these guys coming up with all this, this money? Now all of a sudden San Diego is no longer a little sleepy, mid-major type market. They're playing like, they've got the Yankees checkbook.
But you see what's going on though. I mean, with the Bruins, when they play like they're playing right now, you want to watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, not only do you want to watch it, but you say, wow, look at this guy. Look at that. Now you start to look at the defenseman there from Quinnipiac. He's not a big guy. He smashed this guy the other night, and then the other guy went after
Cliffy
him.
Hockey.
And then he come up with of course, I'm not an Edwards fan, but he comes up with the undercut and knocks the guy down.
Love him.
But
love his aggression. And the other team that I feel about the same way, the Celtics, Al. The Celtics right now, too, are a team, having survived a little bit of turmoil with, the preseason news about Ime Udoka's year-long ban. We may never see him again on the bench, for the Celtics. They go with this young, unproven, upstart in Joe Mazzulla, who's never really coached in the NBA. He never has. I mean, he's been not even on the bench. He was on the back row the guy was on the back row guy, and they put him in the front. And so, but Boston, before all of this, had been tabbed as the preseason favorite to go to the NBA Finals and to win it. And Al, right now, that has not changed.
Yeah, well,
Because you have two of the best, talents in the league right now in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and then you've surrounded them with great players, bringing back Al Horford,
the only
bringing
difference-
back Marcus Smart, bringing back, a good core of people, Grant Williams, and then Malcolm Brogdon has been a great add.
oh yeah, he's a great.
I think Blake Griffin's going to help them, help them weather the absence of a guy like
Well, he knows his role.
Robert Williams.
He knows his role.
Noah Vonleh has been very good. So they've Derek White again.
I think the only thing that the difference between Tatum and Brown is that Tatum is this. Every night you could
Steady.
actually draw a line like this and say 35-20. He's in there every night.
Yes.
Brown can be 35-40, but he also can be 10, 12, 14.
Well, it might depend on the number of touches he
That's
gets.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's got a bigger block there that occasionally he has a
As
bad
long as he
shooting
gives you
game.
anything in between.
They're fine. I think they're a championship team. I think they could have won it last year.
Yeah.
So I think we're in for hopefully a Celtic Bruin season.
Yeah.
Decent seasons.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Could be
we're
interesting
going to
spring here.
lose. We're going to lose the hot stove league with the Red Sox because nobody cares what's in the stove. I mean, really, when you think
Oh
about
my
it.
God, Al. I mean, it's already. I think they're trying to kind of kindle the embers of the hot stove right now because there's word that Eddie Romero, assistant GM, was down in the Dominican with Rafael Devers, and they're like, everyone's trying to read the tea leaves on that one, going, what does this mean?
Yeah.
Does this mean that they're negotiating with Devers right now?
Yeah,
Are
Devers-
they trying to get him to come down a little bit so that they can sign both him
I think
and
they'd like him.
Bogarts?
I think they'd like him to come down, and I think he'd like to stay. I think.
Well, he'd like to stay if Bogarts is here.
Well, no, I think he'd like to stay. I mean, Devers considers himself to be, I think, the ball player on the team. And I think the team sees it that way. I don't think they see Bogarts as the team. I think they say, we got Story that could play shortstop. That if you look at the two of them, Story will hit less in terms of batting average. He'll hit more power, and he's a better defensive player. He's a better athlete than.
But
Bogarts.
okay, so,
So you don't lose that
granted, I'll grant you all of that. But is Story the same guy that in the clubhouse that Bogarts is?
I don't know. That I don't know. But I
I
would
think Bogarts is a guy who is a glue guy.
well, I think the guy that they sent to Houston is the glue guy.
The Babe?
Was the good, yeah, the Babe.
And look at him, Al. He's in the World Series. I was happy for him, Al. I was happy for him that, hey, he's in the World Series. Dave Dombrowski's in the World
saw
Series.
that.
Unbelievable.
I said we have
Al, begs the question, why can't we get guys like that?
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Well, he threw a guy out the other day, Vasquez, which is
Vasquez?
Yeah, very seldom. He's not that great of a catcher, but
Yeah, he's ticketed for Cooperstown. Come on.
yeah. Well, he probably has more stolen bases than any
He has a
275
better
pound
chance
runner.
of getting a ring this year than anybody that
I
he
know.
left behind,
I hope the Phillies win.
Really? Wow.
I don't want the Astros to win.
Okay, so now your Astros animus is coming out.
No, I just don't want them to win. They've been there, 6 years? They've been on that side. The Phillies have never been there.
I
haven't
think
been there for a while.
or is it because that Ted Cruz is a fan of the Astros?
Yeah. Well, how about the home run that what's his name hit the other night though? When they were trailing 4-3, he hit the 2-run home or 3-run home or whatever it was. I mean,
Jeremy Pena? You
no,
don't like
I
that
like
kid?
Pena, but
Yeah.
I mean the kid for the Phillies that won the game for them.
Bryce Harper. Yeah.
I mean,
Oof.
opposite field. I mean, a left
Another guy that, why can't we get guys like this? Kyle Schwarber.
Oh boy.
Why can't we get guys like that?
Yeah, Renfroe and Schwarber hit more home runs than the Red Sox
Combined.
and Pawtucket. Oh, I mean, the Woo Sox combined. So, I don't know. I have been watching a little of the stories coming out of Maine and Providence Bruins. I mean, Lizel's scoring. Beach is doing fairly well.
That's great.
They got a couple of kids down there that are pretty good, although Maine's playing better than Providence. Providence took a beating this last weekend.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting there, Al, to see what happens. And I have to clear up something that I misspoke last time that we were here. I had indicated
We'd
that
have to do this every week, incidentally.
I
They did it for me.
I had my facts wrong about the Milton High Wildcats football team. I indicated that they were going to be playing at Natick last week. Well, they were off last week because of the fact that they had a date with Lynn Classical. It was a home and home. Last year, the Wildcats went out to Lynn and just obliterated Lynn Classical out there. And they were supposed to return the game this year, but they backed out in the summertime, leaving Coach Steve Dembowski high and dry and without an opponent to fill the date at such a late time because everyone else had already kind of like filled their dance card. So the Wildcats had a bye week last week, still undefeated at 6-0 Al. They will be going to Natick this week. Of that you can be assured. And they will be looking to improve their record to 7-0. Again, I remind you they're the number one team in the Division III power rankings, which is important because they will likely host maybe a round or two, depending on how things go, in the statewide tournament beginning the following week. So we will learn at the end of this week who they will probably be playing. But first things first, they need to handle their business at Natick. Natick is not the same team that ran roughshod over them last year, but still the Wildcats coming in with a lot of momentum and having healed up a little bit maybe after the bye week, an extra week to kind of maybe scout Natick. And so it'll be interesting to see what they do. It'll be on the road, and then their next home game will be likely in the state tournament here at Brooksfield.
Oh. Well, listen, I have one favor to ask in that of you.
Yes.
Actually, is that you text me with the score because I'll be on the golf course at Kapalua.
Al, you know what I did yesterday? And Al is going to be, he'll be absent for how long?
At least two.
Okay, so I've got to recruit somebody to come in. It's not even going to be possible, but Al will be going on a nice South Pacific sojourn with his lovely bride, Judy, and he's going to be going out there to visit with family and his lovely daughter. And he's going to be golfing and soaking up the Hawaiian nice, sunshine.
Maui.
I played some Hawaiian music last night. I was thinking about you. And so I was going to cue it up here, but at any rate. Hey, before we go, I want to send out a shout out to Milton volleyball coach Al Mirabili. Congratulations, Al, on your 200th career win in a 3-2 series win against Ursuline, a thriller there. Molly Shea with 22 kills and Stephanie Needham with 20 assists in that important win for Coach Al Mirabili, his 200th career win. So we want to send out that shout out to the Milton High girls volleyball team. All righty, that'll do it for us this week. Thank you so much for joining us here on Stepping Up to the Plate. Look forward to seeing you again next time. I want to wish my main man, Al Prizzuti, a great time out in Hawaii with his bride, Judy. All right, we'll see you then next time. Take care, everybody.
Ciao.
See you.